Hey folks, it's Cheyenne, and today we are sitting down with one of my close personal friends. She's an avid TTRPG enthusiast. She's an amazing digital artist. She has a passion for solo journaling games and has delved into creating several of her own. We're talking her history as an artist, her surprising success as a tabletop role playing creator, her games, her creative process, and more. You can also find the full length, 1 hour unedited version of this conversation up on my Patreon. And without further ado, Wym Lawson. But I really wanted to talk to you because several of your games have actually gotten pretty popular, especially one of your games reincarnated as the Unlovable Villainess. And a bunch of your other games, you have a lot of them on itch.io. You also do commissions, especially on VGen. And I think you're making quite the name for yourself and building yourself somewhat of a community. So, how does that feel?
Thank you. I don't know, it feels kind of weird to think that the little things that I made had so many people actually checking it out. Like like even if people didn't play it, just downloading it or clicking the page makes me feel very happy. It's just people taking their time to just check it out. Like that's a really big thing for me already. I always feel very grateful.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you would get to this moment where you had like so many people really appreciating your games?
Not really. The Reincarnated as the Unlovable Villainess, that was the first game and kind of the only one that gained quite a bit of like players and there's people downloading it every day. But I've made games before and they didn't really get a lot of clicks. They didn't really get a lot of noise. I don't even know if people played them. So it was very surprising. I didn't expect it. I was just making a bunch of games at that time.
You've also had people play actual plays on YouTube and post them and like stream them. You've had people review some of your games. You've had threads on Reddit and like people recommending your games. And
Yeah.
every single time I hear about that, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, every time I'll check it out. I don't usually comment because I feel weird commenting sometimes, but I do check it out and I like secretly using my using my burner account to like make some comments or whatnot. But it's always very fun to see people playing my games or mentioning it.
Would you say that you've like made it in the space at this point?
Um, I guess it depends on what do you what's your metric of like, oh, you made it or
Yeah.
whatnot. If you're talking about making enough money, that's never gonna happen. But if you're like, oh, having fun and like watching people play it, I'd say I would say I've made it. I feel like the when it hit I feel like when the first review of the game came out, I remember reading it. I was so happy. I was sending it to everyone. I was like, "Oh, this is my first review ever." I sent one, like I sent the website to you, and then I sent it to my parents, to my brother, to my husband. Like they all read it, and we had so much fun just reading it, and I feel so happy.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how small you still are and like how much money you still don't make, like those moments are definitely like really special. It makes it feel like your hard work has like mattered and amounted to something, I guess.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be that kind of person to be like, oh, money doesn't matter or whatnot. Like, I mean, we're poor. We
Yeah.
need money. Money do matter, but at the same time, it's like, oh, there's more than money there. I like honestly reading someone's actual play feels or like feels a lot better than seeing like, oh, I got some money. I don't know, like it feels like people put in so much effort and time in it that oh it's very happy. I'm always very happy reading them, and it's so much fun all the time to see how people play their games in like different the same setting with different characters or like similar characters, but how the outcome is completely different. That was always so much fun.
Yeah, like people can play the exact same thing and then end up like in such wildly different scenarios. It's kind of crazy. When you first started as an artist and then making games, what did that look like? How did that happen?
Okay, it's kind of weird because I do remember the first thing I made. It was a generator because I was joining the itch.io. There's like some game jams, so I joined one that's just like making a random generator. I think it was a D12 or D10 or something. So I made one that's the murder mystery one. It's just a generator. So you just roll the dice. That's not exactly a game, it's just an oracle for people with their game to help them with their game. And I remember the first game I made was actually a game called Thank You for the Subs. I think that was my first game.
You
You've played
played
it
it on
too.
this channel. I've
Yeah, that
streamed
was the
it.
first game. Yeah, that was very fun because you got in. I remember you got in a lot of trouble with a rival streamer.
Yeah, sometimes just playing those short, like little, like kind of one-pagey games, like they're really fun. I want to play more on this channel for sure.
Yeah, and that was the first game I created. It was for a game jam called Second Guess Jam. It's a system by another creator, and I just got very inspired. I don't know why, but I was very inspired to make something that's like lighthearted and fun. So I thought of this topic and just thank you for the subs. And that's how I started.
Think it worked out for you. Would you say that that's kind of like a good way for people who kind of want to step into the space and like try to have a creative outlet like game jams? It feels like the generator was like a kind of like simple way to like dip your toe in too.
I do think game jams are very good for creating because sometimes when it's just very general and like you have a lot of ideas and there's no limit and there's no time limit, then it kind of makes it harder to be creative, if it makes sense. Like,
I no,
and
it makes sense. I agree with that for sure.
yeah, you need like I won't say everyone, but personally, I'll need some pressure. I need some time frame and I need some constraint to make me be creative to be like, oh, I need to make a game that's for two people and I can only roll for the system or like roll for the theme, and that's how I get more creative.
That makes sense because it's like for some people they might thrive having like endless possibilities of creativity and like staring at a blank page. But then for people like you and me, it really helps us to not start entirely from a blank page and have these guardrails and have these like specific requirements that can like kind of jumpstart and inspire us to get our creative juices flowing.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like with game jams as well that there is a end date, so it does have the time pressure to you have to be like, oh, I have to finish it. I cannot just wait forever. And I think that's a very big part for me completing anything.
Yeah. So you have been a game designer fairly recently, but you've been an artist pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah, I don't remember a time where I'm not holding the pen and drawing something.
Mhm. But you haven't always like used your skills like professionally.
Yeah,
You
it's only
really like,
been
yeah.
very recent. Start doing commission. It was scary
Mhm.
because people are paying for you to do something, and it's people's hard-earned money. So I never want to disappoint people. I'm always scared and nervous that, oh, they're not gonna be happy for what I made. And I strive to do my best no matter what, but I don't know if you remember, but there was a time that everyone's telling me, my parents were like, "Oh, you should start doing commission," and even you were saying, "Oh,
I was gonna say, I think I would start it.
yeah, yeah, you're like you could start doing commission." And I got cousins telling me, "Hey, you should try doing commissions," and I remember I was like, "I cannot do it because I suck. I'm
I
not
think
good."
The thing that we were seeing was that we were seeing other people do commissions. Like, I hope my audience members don't take this the wrong way, but they just weren't nearly as good as like how you were even back then, like the skills that you had. We could see that they were like really on like another level than other people who were doing commissions, right? So in our mind, it was like, well, of course you should do commissions.
Yeah, my mom says that too, is that, oh, you can just put yourself out there. If people want to pay, they would pay. If no one want to buy it, no one would buy it. There's no harm. But I was nervous that, oh, what if someone did buy it, then I have to do it. That's the scary part. But then when I actually started doing commission nowadays, like I think it's been 2 years, and I think it was after an art fight. I drew some samples. I used the art fight drawing for samples, and then I actually finally felt comfortable that, oh, my work's actually not that bad. I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And so that's how I started. But I do feel like you have to kind of be comfortable of doing some sort of commission. You have to feel good about it and feel like, oh, yeah, I feel like I actually worth the price. And
Because your prices were kind of low
it
at
was
first.
it was very low. It was $10 at first. It was
And
two
now,
years ago. I started with $20, but then the first three people that commissioned me would get 50% off. So it was $10.
oof.
And I don't know, I think I can show you what I had got be from before. I've sent it to you so you can maybe post it for people to see what the first three illustrations look
Yeah,
like.
sure.
Yeah, that was $10. And I remember I did think I did a good job. Like I every single piece I felt like I did a good job. That's how I'm comfortable sending it out. But yeah, I just had a very low price because it's not because I don't think my thing's worth it, but it was more like, oh, I didn't have a following. I I don't have social media basically. I don't use anything to promote myself. So I gotta start low so people would feel like, oh, if it's $10, even if it's a scam, it's $10.
Right.
So I try to build up like a rapport or like, oh, people leave reviews that said, hey, it's $10, yay, but she is legit. She's not like a fake. She's not using AI or whatnot. So I feel like that's a good way to build it up. Yeah, I feel like it's very important to build up having a list of reviews that people can have a look and see, hey, it's legit, it's good.
Then you've kind of had a almost similar approach to your tabletop role-playing games, I think. Not all of them, but a lot of them are free on your itch.io, and it kind of has been working out for you.
In terms of popularity, definitely my free games are more popular. More people download it for sure. And I think I just have it for free because I'm not in for the money. I just want people to play it. I mean, obviously, I do have games that are like you gotta pay, but most of the games I just want people to try and play it and have fun and tell me how it went.
End up making money even though you have them for free, right?
Yeah, weirdly enough, people are very nice. They would tip you even though it's free. I'm always so grateful. I each time I get tip, I tell everyone. I tell, hey, I got tip. And I would be like, hey, I got $2. We can celebrate by having like a $10 meal.
Yeah, it's so very
Just ended up
exciting every
spending.
time.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's always good. It's always happy. I always tell my husband, I was like, hey, guess what? He's like, guess what? Oh, what? It's like, oh, I got $2 from my game.
It's nice living in a world where we're still like incredibly happy for $2.
Oh yeah, I'm still grateful. I'm very happy.
And your whole entire your itch.io, your YouTube channel will all be linked in the description below. So everyone who's watching this can go and check you out and support you, of course. And then
Play the
hopefully
games.
play the games. And then hopefully some of your fans who kind of already know of your art and your games can check this kind of discussion interview out and learn more about you.
Yeah. maybe you don't know too much about me and you'd be disappointed by me.
This
You're
sounds
like,
like
she's
the
boring. She's boring. I don't want to.
No, I think
I don't
these
want
are
to know
some
her.
like tidbits of
Oh,
wisdom that we're like putting out here.
yeah, I know nothing though. I'm just a person. I'm a nobody. Don't listen.
That
Don't just say, hey, Wim gave this advice. I should be rich now. I'm like,
it
don't.
all you're saying is that it worked for you. You're not saying it's gonna work for
Yeah,
anyone else.
yeah.
So I want to ask, like, I know from being your best friend that you work alone on basically all your projects, wearing multiple hats. Like, I wonder if in some of your games people would be surprised that it's not like a studio behind you, or like you don't have like multiple artists or multiple writers. Do you see
I
yourself wearing multiple hats as like an artist more, a writer more, or a game designer more?
I don't think I'm a writer, even though I like writing.
Mhm.
I love playing play by post. I write fan fiction. I wrote one fan fiction, and I
This is why we're
do.
friends. I love all those things too.
Yeah, and like I write on the side. It's fun, but I feel like I'm not to the level that I'm comfortable saying, "Hey, I'm a writer." Like if people pay me to write, I'd be like, "Oh, no, I don't feel comfortable." But with art, I think I see myself more of an artist because I remember just a few weeks ago, I went to the optometrist and he asked, "Hey, what's your occupation?" And I said, "Oh, I'm an artist." So I guess I see myself more of an artist than game designer.
When you work alone, why is that?
It's just easier to work alone, so I don't have to have expectations for other people. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, there's something I want to do in my mind, but then maybe the other person has something else in mind, and oh, I don't want to compromise. I just want to do my own thing. I think that's easier. And also, the thing is, I work in weird hours.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
don't,
true.
yeah, like sometimes I'm working at 4 a.m. and it's harder to work with other people when they have a relatively normal sleeping schedule or like they have to work or whatnot. And I tend to just work in like very short period of time, but then I don't sleep. So I could be working on one game for 24 hours nonstop, and then oh, it's done. So it's easier to just work alone. And also, working with other people means I gotta pay them. And I honestly don't have the money to pay for people. If I do have the money, I'd outsource drawing or
Anyone
like
in.
programming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's easier to just learn and do it on our own. And the thing is, I also know how to draw, so it's just easier to just, oh, I can just draw on my own.
Mhm. You
There
can
are
make
some
your stuff
games.
look good.
Yeah, I have to say, I have a big ego. I do think myself look good. I have a big
A
ego.
healthy ego.
I do think I was looking at it, I was admiring it. I was like, oh, this person's so good at layout. This person's
And
so
that
good with the
person's you.
illustration. Yeah, that person's me. Oh, I'm so good. Because I was looking Rivers and Lakes. That's one of the wuxia game that I
That's
made,
one
and
of my it is such a pretty looking game. It's one of my favorite visual aesthetic looking games for
yeah,
sure.
so I really tried to emulate the very old school wuxia illustrations that they have. I was looking at all the newspaper and I was trying to copy their style, and I was like, oh, it's really hard. I don't think I like, and I'm looking back at it, I was like, oh, I can do a better job, but I did spend a lot of time making logos, making a lot of traditional looking, like Chinese traditional looking drawings. I did a lot of those, and I felt like, hey, this person's really good.
That's a
This
beautiful
person's
game.
really good,
It's
really good
really
with layout.
beautiful. I
Yeah,
always
thanks.
kind of at the back of my head, I understood why your other one, Reincarnated as an unlovable villainess, got so popular. But I was kind of like, but rivers and lakes, though.
Yeah, I put in a lot of my Chinese background and the wuxia media that I've read and watched back in the days when I was a kid. It was very fun. I tried to made a lot of wuxia tropes in it that I'm like, oh, that if you love the genre, you know these are tropes that you gotta have in this kind of genre. It's very fun. It does have some I wouldn't say rivers and lakes have a following, but I from time to time I did see people mentioning it in other spaces like on Reddit. But I've yet to see a playthrough. If there's one actual play, I didn't know, but that was fun. We tried to play it. I think we did play it
Yeah.
together. Yeah, we were just play testing, and I think we were. I don't remember. I think we played as rivals. I
The thing with a lot of the games that you've created are solo games. And
yeah,
the way that we have played them, like they're solo, and you play a lot of solo games yourself. That seems to be like one of your passions.
yeah,
But
I
we
love
ended up
solo game.
playing that game solo but together, which is like I don't
Yeah,
know how many people play at that game, but it's kind of like an untapped potential where we're still like writing our solo like journals and stuff, but it's like in within the same universe and we're doing it
yeah.
at the same time. And when something affects the world in your game, it also affects the world in my game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a prompt that it ended up killing one of my NPCs, but it was from your prompt.
That
We
was
did create the game Lake Horror, and it was made for multiple people. I think we wrote it that it was for
mhm.
it could be like multiple people, and we when we play tested, it was very fun. I remember.
That was another game I was gonna bring up when you talked about like mostly doing work alone because you haven't always done
Yeah,
work alone. We made a game together. We made like horror together, which was a really good experience. I think we work well together. I think we're a pretty good team.
yeah, it was really good. It was fun. I think especially with Lake Horror, it was kind of a genre that I like slasher is something that I think is really fun in a game setting, but I've never been into slasher movies. So it was like your knowledge was really needed for the game
Mhm.
because
So
I didn't know the references or I just know some of the stuff that I like if I'm like in a slasher story, then oh, I would
yeah,
want to see this and that.
you really brought your artistic and layout and your knowledge of like the mechanics of solo games. And then I brought my
Yeah.
writing and my knowledge and background of
Yeah.
horror and especially like 80s, old 80 movie slasher horror. And one day we're going to record an actual play
Yeah.
or
It could
stream it
be
or something.
it would be good for as a tutorial, I suppose.
Mhm. That was my first time kind of like experiencing what you have experienced, where like people are giving a little bit of attention to a game that you created because someone wrote a review and like contacted us about it and they had posted it on YouTube and I've never experienced that before.
Yeah, it's a very special feeling that someone took their time to read your stuff and then they have a some opinion and they play through it. It was very fun. And I remember I was looking I keep on searching our stuff on Google and there was one time where someone on Reddit actually mentioned our game. So I immediately screenshot it. I was like,
Yes.
hey, look at it, Cheyenne, look at it. Someone mentioned a game.
It's the
But that
best
was really
feeling in the
great.
world. I love it. Okay, there's one question that actually, let me ask this first because I'm curious about what your game creation process is like.
It's very messy.
Yeah, you've talked about your
It's
weird
very messy.
hours. Like you are the person writing, you're the person designing the game mechanics and the layout and doing all the artists. And you might work on a game for like a whole entire night and just like work through it. But what do you start? Like, what is your first thing? Do you start with like a general idea? Like we do a lot of like genre games, I've noticed. So do you start from like you
Yeah.
want to write something in a genre?
It usually start with this may sound silly, but it usually start with, oh, I see a game jam and I wanted to join. So it's like, oh, I gotta make something. And then sometimes it was, I remember the first bigger game that I have. And that was a game called Case Closed, a code case RPG. I think that's somewhat the first bigger game that I got. Um, I started with, oh, I gotta make something for the career game bundle. Then I started with, oh, I got a deadline. that I have to fulfill. I have to make something. And then I had the idea of, hey, I love murder mystery. So how can I make a solo murder mystery that still seems fun, that you're making theories and you're like, oh, checking out if your theories are correct, and not like, oh, it's a solo game, so you already know who's the killer. Like, I don't want that feeling. And so I think with that game, I started with the idea that, oh, it's a murder mystery. And then I start with what should the system look like to fulfill the premise.
I was just curious if that's like, would you say that's your normal like approach, or was that kind of unique because you had the game jam?
I I think sometimes it depends because with thank you for the subs, it was for a specific system, just like the other game called Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. It was also based on another system. So for that, I was just like, oh, what's an interesting, somewhat unique topic that could fit into the system? But then with most of the games that I create the system for, then I start with a premise and then I jump to what system could match with what I want to do.
It's almost like
Some
what you were talking about before about what was it? You were talking about how like the guardrails kind of help you. Like it's like it makes me bring to mind like puzzles. Like you operate like whatever piece you start with, your process is like you like fit it together like a puzzle.
Yeah, I try to make it like one piece by one piece and I just piece it together, I guess. So that's one way to start it is just premise and then setting to um make the premise actually work. And then there are other ways like, oh, with that two games, it was there's a system, what's best for the system, what's fun for the system. And then sometimes I start with the system and then I come up with what's a good premise for this system. So one of the game that I have is that I had the system first. It was called The Last Doctor. So that one, I remember, I think I was just like, oh, how do I make a dice pool game? And the first idea I had was actually, what if it's a action game? So, you know how Street Fighter, I think that's called like fighting game or something.
Yeah.
So in Street Fighter, you get different combos, right? It's like, oh, left, right, left, and then shift, whatever, and then you maybe that's your alt, and then there's a left hook, there's a right hook, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I was thinking, what if it's a dice pool game, and then you are supposed to fight your opponent, and then it's since it's a solo game, so it's NPCs, and so you roll a bunch of dice, and then you mix and match. Oh, so dice one, two, three, that's a combo, and then three, 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 that's a combo, that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. That's really unique and
Yeah,
cool.
so yeah, I just wanted to make a dice pool game, but then I got stuck because I didn't know what to do with the opponent. I was like, oh, when it's a solo game, how to make it more fun than just you're rolling a bunch of dice. So I changed the premise to fit the concept. So it ended up being, oh, you're just a doctor and you're brewing different potions. So you gotta
Interesting.
collect herbs and letter one, like not letter one, result one represent like some herbs, no name herbs, and oh, so you're just collecting herbs and at the end it's a dice pool game with different combos. I think that was one way to do it.
Makes sense. Um, so I feel like you've kind of answered this one, but like you take a lot of inspiration from like genres and like other games, and what else do you take inspiration from?
Inspirations, I think mostly it's because I do play a lot of different video games or I watch people play video games. So honestly, a lot of inspiration, I'm thinking of it, it's like, oh, it's from different video games. So I have, so The Last Doctor, that one, that the idea was coming from fear and hunger. That's one of the inspiration. That I was like, oh, there's a sense of dread and it's like a harsh world. And then there's another game, but I forgot what it's called, but you're supposed to be a doctor. Like in that game, I think you're a doctor and you have to make very hard decision to be like, oh, these are the people I want to save. Or like, oh, do I steal the gun? But stealing the gun doesn't mean you might use it in a good way. Maybe something would happen, and then it's like very dreadful. There's like it's not fun. I remember people saying you just walk very slow, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. So I took inspiration from that, and then there's another game, Summer at Sunnyside Bay. That's a cozy game, which I rarely make. I think most of my games are very dreadful. It's not happy, but that one game was inspired by another video game. It's called Our Life, Beginning and Always. Um, that's one of my favorite visual novel game. So I do think if you want inspiration, just play a lot of video games and then try to make the video games into tabletop RPG. That's a way to do it.
I think that's the advice a lot of people give with a lot of creative stuff. Like if you want to write, like you should read a lot of books. If you want to make movies, you should like watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, even with drawing, it's kind of related. I swing it back to like, oh, being an artist. I remember seeing someone on Reddit and they said how, oh, I've lost passion or I've lost inspiration. I don't know what to draw. I don't know what to do. My advice was, hey, maybe you should stop drawing and instead go play some video games, go watch some movies, go consume other things. You don't have to keep drawing art to improve your art. So
Yeah.
you just do something else. And you don't even need to like I know you like you said, oh, if you want to write a good book, then you should read more books. Sometimes I'm even like you don't even have to read like yes, of course you gotta read books, but hey, if you want inspiration, go watch other stuff, do other stuff.
A lot of
Don't touch
my
reading and
stuff,
writing.
yeah, a lot of my stuff has been like inspired by other stuff. Like I really love Monster of the Week. So I've mentioned it on this channel before. I make like a lot of Monster of the Week modules that are on itch.io, and so many of them are just like I watched a horror movie and I decided to turn that into a mystery. Or like here's this horror movie like iconic villain or character or monster and I made that into like a villain. Like, do you
Oh,
have a favorite tabletop role playing game that you've produced?
I'd say okay, I'd say it's hard to pick one because
I
I think
know
I have favorite for different reasons.
this is why it's a mean question.
Personally, I personally think the most creative one that I like is one called Rip Hero because I feel like I'm so smart for saying it's rip like RIP, so it's rest in peace, and at the same time it's like you gotta rip a piece of paper to play it. And I feel like that's like my most creative work that I like the most in terms of creativity because in that game you play by tearing up your character sheet basically and
It's
you lose a piece of yourself each time you roll something. So you gotta like it's quite sad if you think about it because you keep on you're the chosen one, but you're gonna die. So it's like rest in peace. And that one was a one-page RPG game jam game. So I tried really hard to think how do I incorporate one piece of paper in that game to be like, oh, it's one page and you literally just use that one page to play it. And so if you're in terms of creativity, I'd say that one's my favorite. And then I have like a lot of different reasons for my favorite games. And then in terms of like, oh, how um it's always gonna have a special place in my heart is Rivers and Lakes because I spent so much time on it. I did a whole layout. That was my first very, very big game, I think. I spent a lot of time. It's not like a lot of time, but it was a month of work, I think. It was just like, oh, working on it nonstop. So that's one of my favorite. But then I think there's one that people wouldn't think it's my favorite, but it's called Tabletop RPG Nightmare Simulator because I think I made it out of spite.
wait, spite is another powerful motivator.
Yeah, I was so sick and tired of the people I played with. So I made a tabletop RPG for like solo player. You're supposed to just play it solo, but the simulator is simulating um shitty players. And you're the GM, and you have to roll for stress and whatnot. Because I was like, oh my god, these
That
players.
sounds like such a fun concept.
Yeah, I have like their game moves are all weird thing. Like, oh, the game move is I will my new backstory turns me into an important person for the current plot. Like that's a move from the chosen one, quote unquote chosen one. And then like stealing people's moment or like, oh, I demount a lot of stuff, blah blah blah. And then if you read it, I think you might be able to pinpoint, oh, this is talking about this player.
But no one else will know, and they'll never get the
No,
knowledge from me.
no. That's very funny. I made it out of spite. I was so angry. I was just so pissed off with the players, so I made that one. So this is secretly one of my favorite, I'd say. Yeah, and then there's other one that I made it out of spite once again. It's called This Ending Sucks, so I'm going to write a fanfic. So you know why it sparked my inspiration. It's just like, oh, I watched a very bad ending. So I was like, oh, this ending really did suck. And obviously, one of my favorite would be Reincarnated as the Unlovable Villainess.
And it's one of your, I think that's probably your most popular one among fans.
That's Yeah, that's actually the most popular one, and I personally played it a lot in my free time. I
So
was
you
just
would
playing it.
say if you've played it a lot, I guess you're not surprised that that's the one that everyone has kind of loved.
No, I feel like it was fun. It's a fun genre that I feel like not a lot of tabletop RPG, at least not in the English side of things. But I feel like the reincarnated trope hasn't been really used in the English side of things. So I was like, oh, that was fun. And I wrote for the title of the game. I just found an random generator for um isekai like light novels, and that's what I got. So I was like, oh, that's a good inspiration.
That's a good
Reincarnated as the
way.
unlovable villainess. Yeah. So that one was fun. I spent surprisingly not a lot of time creating that game. I was just very inspired.
Is
Uh,
there a game that you can give like a sneak peek to your fans that might be coming down the line?
okay, I have an idea that I wrote and I lost it. I I'm trying to make, I guess, but who knows how long it's gonna take. I'm making a magical schoolgirl game.
Oh, that would align a lot with like what you've just said. We're gonna hopefully see that coming from you soon. And now everyone who watched this is gonna keep you accountable. Okay, well, thank you so much for hopping on the channel. I'm sure you're gonna be a regular on here going
Yay!
forward. Before we leave, is there other things that you want to take this moment to shout out?
Um, well, shout out to your itch.io. You also got a lot of not, you got a lot of mysteries for your Monster of the Week thing, and we have our game Lake Horror. It's a 80s slasher solo or duo or multiple player journaling game. It's very fun, I'd
I think so
say,
too.
if you like slasher. It's very exciting, and I'd love to see if anyone have any actual plays. And I think that's about it. My games are mostly free. If it's not free, then too bad. But you can email me, I guess, if you really want it. I do have community copies sometimes, and I am on Fijan doing commissions, but currently it's closed.
Okay,
But that's
so
it.
your itch.io, itch.io is going to be linked to I can't talk now. Your itch.io is going to be linked below, and so will I link your VGen, but you also have your own YouTube channel right here that people should check out if they want to see more of your art.
Yeah, I would probably have a comment down there when it's up, the video. Even though my YouTube channel is just my art process and I don't even do anything with it.
Just search Wym Lawson and you can find most of your stuff, right?
Yep, I only use this name.
Okay, thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I can't wait to show you off to some of my viewers and to see what else you have next coming down the line.
Yeah, I'm stealing your viewers. Be my
Please,
fans. Be my fans.
please go check out Wym Lawson. They are incredibly talented and their work is so fun.
Thank you.
Bye.
That's
Stay
fun.
weird
Bye.
and stay safe.